New question. What is the rule of thumb around the duration of a task?
Okay. When I think task, I think, so I'm not really sure what the questioner is asking about here. I think you're taking an item from your product backlog, something that's going to deliver value, a new feature, a bug fix, whatever, and you're breaking it down into smaller tasks that help you get there, right? So we need a new contact form on our website. We're going to break that down into tasks. So someone's got to design the form, someone's got to code it up, someone's got to test it, someone's got to make sure that it's, laid out right. All those little minor tasks add up to a new piece of value, a new product backlog item, a new increment. I kind of don't think the task length matters that much. I mean, I tend to favor smaller ones because the smaller, the more granular tasks you have, the more visibility you have into is work flowing through the system as opposed to getting stuck on one thing. But at the end of the day, I think I'm going to take a really kind of cop-out answer here and say whatever works best for the team. I've worked with teams that don't do tasks at all, and they're not really required to. So I think this is kind of like whatever works for you. That's where I'm coming from it. What do you think, Greg?
Not too dissimilar there. I think task duration could be an extra measure of work that doesn't necessarily return on its investment. And let me paraphrase it by this. If you've got a product backlog item that's going to take you 1.9 weeks and your sprint is 2 weeks long, that's problematic to begin with. Basically, everything you've broken down into tasks ends up being extremely risky. And of course, you're going to want to know approximately how long some of those things are. But that's just a bad practice to begin with. Scrum won't say you can't do it because it says small enough to fit within a sprint. However, product backlog items that are broken down into small enough developable, that's not the word I was looking for there, but small enough to be built within a sprint's time frame and reduce risk is going to really probably eliminate your need to granularly estimate every task within it. If I know that this product backlog item is going to be done in 2 days, it's going to be done in 2 days. Do I really need to know this task is 3 hours, 7 hours, 2 hours? That's my thinking. Just reduce the size of your product backlog item small enough to where task sizing is not required.
I like all of your ideas. I've got one more. I don't know if it's going to add value at this point, but let me throw it out there anyway. If you build burn down charts, these are a common way to measure progress throughout a sprint. They're controversial. Some people love them. Some people hate them. They're built into Jira. I think, what do you call it? Azure DevOps might even have it.
Yeah.
Regardless of who's building this tool for you, the way you build it is typically by adding up the amount of work done in a sprint based on however you estimate work, and it burns down to 0 by the end of the sprint. In order to get that number on the y-axis, how much work is there to do? You've got to have some statistic for estimation, and story points aren't going to work here because typically story points you're using to estimate multi-days worth of work. What you want to do is you want to have little tiny tasks broken down into a day or less of work, so that every day you see some movement by burning down the backlog. And when you don't see movement for a few days, that's an immediate prompt to stop and say, who needs help? We're flatlining here. We need to get some things unstuck. But you don't get that level of granularity if you just keep things in big chunks, and that can lead to people just working for 4 or 5 days on a piece of work, and then they're stuck, and by then it's halfway in the middle of the sprint. It's a lot harder to help. So that's my thought. Break down work small enough to fit into a sprint. Your task sizes shouldn't be more than about 8 hours.
So common theme, smaller is better. Hey, thanks for watching that video. Did you like what you heard? If so, you're going to love our Scrum classes. See, not only do we talk about these ideas on YouTube, we're also professional Scrum trainers, and we'd love to have you in one of our classes. So if you need to level up as a Scrum Master or a product owner, maybe you need to learn how to scale Scrum or combine Kanban or UX with Scrum, click the link in our description and you'll find a list of our upcoming classes.
If this is your first time to our channel and you're interested in growing in your agility and understanding things like Scrum and other agile topics, then be sure to get started by subscribing right now and hit that alert button. I don't want you to miss a thing.